In this episode, we're going to talk about The Last Jedi. We just saw it. We're going to give our 2 cents on it.
Good, bad, or indifferent.
So stick around. Hit the tape. Welcome to my side of the laundry room live. I wouldn't have thought walking out of the theater Thursday night we would be in the world that we're in right now.
No. Nope. And fair warning, we are going to talk spoilers.
Yes.
So by the time that this airs, if you haven't seen Last Jedi, wait to watch this video because, we're going to be pretty candid, I think, about what we're going to, what our thoughts and feelings were. So
major spoilers.
Major. So what was your take?
Honestly, I loved it.
Okay.
Yes, there was a warming up process, which has been, I think I first felt it more with Rogue One over The Force Awakens.
Okay.
It's different. But different's not bad.
It's not. And that's what I had to come to grips with this film. Yeah. You know.
It's a good movie.
It's a good movie, and more importantly, it's an original movie. So to me, for everyone who has issues with The Last Jedi, which I'm not one of them, but I'm saying for those people who do, you're really going to have a hard time saying that this is just like X or this was just like Y.
Yes. There may be some nuances, there's no direct parallels between this and any other.
No. To be honest with you, if you're going to sit there and critique it, and we have friends that like Rogue One more than Last Jedi, I would argue that Rogue One is more of a retelling of a story I've seen 4,000 times than Last Jedi is. You know, doomed bunch of individuals stealing plans or whatever. Insert MacGuffin here, right? Yeah. And nobody makes it out alive. Stephen J. Cannell made a career out of that. You know, it was a goddamn A-team every fucking week, except they walked away. I mean, that's all the Rogue One was missing, was building a titanium plow for the front of the fucking ship. But
help some farmers.
Exactly. We'll fix that for you. Yeah. Don't worry about it. But I'm just saying, if you're going to critique these films as being original, right? That was nothing but the Dirty Dozen in space.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
yes, it was wholly original.
It was. So Last Jedi was very original.
So, yes, that can put your nerves up. Like, ooh. I definitely think this movie needs a second viewing.
Yes.
I loved it, but I would love to see some more.
Well, I'm actually going tomorrow with my daughter because she worked the night we went and saw it. Mm-hmm. And she's inadvertently, in one way or another, seen all of the Star Wars films. Mm-hmm. She was in her mother's belly when Episode 1 came out. She went with me to Episode 2 and went with me to Episode 3. She's gone with me to Force Awakens. She went with me to Rogue One. So it just seems that, the right thing to do is take her to Last Jedi, but that's neither here nor there. So I can't wait to actually watch this film and get past the spectacle of it, which is what you feel like the first time you see it.
Oh, yeah.
So then you can let this really, truly soak in, if that's the right term. We've had basically 48 hours of critiques and complaints and whatever else.
Yeah.
So I think the best way to do this is let's talk about what we liked.
Oh,
I mean, what was the parts that said, "Oh my God, this is the greatest movie"? You know what I mean? What was those parts for you at least? That's I guess. I have mine. I'm just curious if we're on the same page with this.
There's parts throughout the entire movie.
I agree.
So I should go chronologically, but I can't. The first thing that pops into my mind is nice explanation of the Force. A nice definitive.
So when you're saying she's meditating, Luke...
When Luke is describing, can you feel the space between, chaos and order and left and right? All the opposites. Mm-hmm. Now the space between those.
Break down to the reach out.
Yes. Yeah, and he straight up... They handled him like an old school samurai in a movie. Like, the young dude finds him in the forest and he's eating cockroaches and shit. And like,
Yeah.
That's kind of like how he was with the milking of the sea cow thing.
He was closer to Yoda than he was to Ben, if we're going to paint him as the Jedi mentor. Do you agree with that? You know what I mean?
100%.
So, I liked that. I did. To me, the high point of the entire film is the unexpected showing of Yoda. It honestly probably pushed me over the edge of, do I like this movie? Do I love this movie? Or am I in between? No. Now, then you give me Yoda, and you give me something as simple as him just basically saying, you still don't get it. After all this time, you still don't get it, young Skywalker. You know what I mean? I mean, the statement about the Jedi books.
Oh, real page turners.
Yeah, page turners they are. You know what I mean? Have you read them?
Yeah.
You know, that made a very strong part of that film for me.
It was in those scenes that I think it was beautiful that Mark Hamill was allowed to return to that Luke that we knew in personality.
The small farm boy who's still looking to the stars.
That, but just like Yoda's there, he has no airs. You know, just like, hey, what do you mean? You know, like, not the it was awesome.
I agree. No, awesome. I agree. That was one of the best parts
and
of that
the best
film.
part about the Yoda, it was done in Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, looking...
hand puppet.
It looked like a digital hand puppet, which was beautiful. And it did not look like the new badass Yoda form. And that was beautiful to see, that they did not pull up, well, we shown him to look like this, so we're changing, you know.
Yes.
Lucas would have done that.
Lucas wouldn't have made that movie.
No.
No, okay.
But I'm just saying, if he ever would have and put Yoda in it, he would make him look like he did in the prequels.
No, Yoda would have came down in a pod with the Trade Federation behind him.
And
you know what I'm saying?
And he'll edit and
hire. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Make it look like, you know.
He comes hovering over. I'm all powerful. Anyway.
So, I can tell you, I truly like the end.
Yeah.
I like the way that Luke... I would have probably been in open revolt and would have been, for the first time in my life, openly blogging how much I hated this movie if Ren had killed him as well.
Yes.
Because I much preferred the going out like Obi-Wan, deciding it's my time, in a nutshell. I mean, that's what, you know what I mean? Or Yoda, but I'm saying both of those guys basically said it's my time.
Yes.
You know, and I like the fact that Luke
and he gazed upon the two suns. That made it emotional.
Yes.
It's like...
And about 5 people probably picked up on that, to be perfectly honest. I don't think anybody picked up the nuance of that.
I mean, and how it was shot in the original New Hope, Luke is looking this way.
Yeah.
In this movie, he's looking this way. He's looking towards the journey and at the end of the journey.
Yep.
That's fucking beautiful.
That's what I said.
Beautiful.
So now that you've seen this, you can say that you noticed this as well, and you don't have to tell anybody that you heard
No,
it
people online I've noticed some.
Really?
Some.
I explained this to my wife, and her eyes rolled back into her head Thursday night. I picked up on it immediately. It also helped that I snuck and watched A New Hope that morning. So... I did.
Hey, understood. But
just saying.
Yeah. Now, you said that you kind of had an issue with the casino planet.
I do.
That was kind of an unwarranted time frame.
I did.
But I did find that kind of cool. I loved seeing all the aliens and
that is not what I'm saying. I liked seeing it as well. I thought that was definitely another view into the Star Wars universe that we're not used to.
You just thought, the princess isn't here, go to the next castle. Take on it, yeah.
So, I mean, we can get into a whole bunch of arguments with that. Yeah. I just didn't see the need for it. I would have almost rather have had the tension with the dreadnought chasing, okay, and them maneuvering and trying to figure out what to do.
Didn't that make it like one of those old submarine movies where they're playing cat and mouse? That harkened back to that to me, and that was, I like that.
If anything, it harkened back to 100 different movies of that cat and mouse type thing, and I
mean,
enjoyed
even with
it.
the mutiny and everything
Yes,
else. Yeah.
and the diversion of it. As a matter of fact, I would have liked to have seen more of the mutiny, where Poe may be sneaking around the ship, and less of the gambling.
Yeah.
And maybe giving you a little bit more action, and I don't think maybe that we would have gotten some of the pushback that we've gotten on this film. The other big thing that I don't think anybody liked is, and here's the big spoilers, I don't think anybody expected Snoke to die. So that's going to be the first part of where everyone's been out of shape. So I had to come to grips with this, which we talked about.
Yeah.
It wasn't what I expected either. And for a second, I was kind of almost pissed off. I was like, God, damn it. What the hell?
Yeah.
But then you realize it's like, hey, he just got me to say, what the hell?
Yeah.
Instead
You did something I didn't expect. Yeah.
Exactly.
There was a moment in that where Rey's in Snoke's chamber.
Mm-hmm.
I thought there was a possibility she could die. This movie has turned to me on my
Actually,
head.
I didn't think she would die, but I'm with you.
I mean, of course, reality would sink in, but you're just like, damn. I mean,
No, I thought she was going to go to the dark side.
Because this movie can pull the rug out of you quick in this.
I thought she was going to go to the dark side.
Speaking of that,
Yes.
I loved how Rey and Ren came to their decisions organically.
Yes, completely.
Because it kept you guessing. It wasn't
Absolutely.
like, well, she's training with Luke, she's going to be a Jedi.
But not only that.
No, I mean...
How cool was it to see both of them fight together? Albeit for a short little principle, short little bit
That
there. But
was one of
how
the best
great was that? It was one
lightsaber
of
battles ever.
the simple fact that he turns a lightsaber on and then turns it off. And that's how he defeats one of the Imperial Guard. Or as I like to call them, the Imperial Guard from Krull.
Yeah.
Just saying.
But they were pretty cool.
I'm going to say that for the rest, as long as they're used, because that's what they are. It's just a blatant ripoff. But anyway,
Enjoy it.
But anyway, I thought that was neat. I thought that was really neat.
Hell yeah.
Obviously, I thought it was neat.
One of the first things where it's like...
And do you know this? I gave you massive props in a theater 40 minutes away.
What?
And you can ask my wife. So when the announcement was made by Ren that Rey's parents were nothing more than nobodies, I said, son of a bitch, Rob was right. Because, we had our theories back and forth.
Yeah.
I thought she was a Kenobi. A friend of
And
ours
I
thought
guess
she was a
that's why I'm
Palpatine.
okay with it.
Well,
There's
that's
a
what
lot
I'm
of
saying.
people
You kind
online
of...
that don't even want to acknowledge, like, no.
Who cares?
That didn't happen.
No, but
Right.
here's yet again. So we have Snoke dying, and we have Rey's parents not being any major lineage. Okay. But thanks for explaining it.
Yeah.
Okay, Snoke's a herring. The real villain in this is going to be Kylo Ren.
Or you could think that it's Star Wars and you never know. Maybe Snoke
that's
will
true.
come back in some way, shape, or form.
Well, JJ's going to do 9, so all it's going to be is a retelling of Return.
Ooh, I hope there's Ewoks. Yeah.
I have a question for you.
Yeah, sure.
Was Chewie eating a Porg?
Porg? Yes.
When the Porg was looking at him sad?
And crying.
And
yes.
crying?
Yeah.
That's what I thought, too. My wife wholeheartedly disagreed.
No, they weren't handled exactly the way I thought they would. They're still cool.
How did you think? I'm just curious. I mean, what did you think was going to... More of an Ewok and less of a... let's go buy that stuffed animal.
When I heard that they're force sensitive, I thought that they would have somewhat... I mean, they did display somewhat of intelligence, but more of an intelligence. And have actual character. I was hoping for that.
Okay, all right.
The Chewie thing did bug me at first, but then I thought...
That's what Chewie would do.
Yes, but this also seems like an old Warner Brothers cartoon kind of joke.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Oh, I love the fact that Chewie's the one that rips the door off.
Yeah.
I've had enough of this dumb shit, Luke. Let's, whatever.
Yeah.
I did. I mean,
No, I agree.
So I guess if you don't like Last Jedi because it isn't what you thought it was, that's not really fair to yourself. My suggestion for everyone who's online right now and will continue to be online and who watches our videos, we know you're out there. Watch it again. If you still feel the way you feel, that you're entitled to that opinion.
You
Absolutely,
definitely are. But I think you should give it another
I really
shot.
do, and absorb the fact that now you know what you know.
Oh yeah, the shock factor's over. Enjoy it for what it is. Then.
And also keep in mind, this is one of what foreseeably will be 2,000 episodes of Star Wars. Mm-hmm. So these storylines are going to change, probably be redone, sprinkled in additional information. You know, as of right now, Rey's parents are nobody. Come to grips with it. You know, you may not like it, but come to grips with it.
They could pull a Spider-Man in 20 years from
Absolutely.
now and go, hey, remember?
She was just a clone.
Well, they were
no?
with Peter Parker. They were spies,
Wrong
and
Spider-Man
that's why
story.
they were killed.
I'm sorry.
Man,
What?
it could work, but I'm just saying.
Is her real name Ray Kenobi, and the real Ray got dropped down a furnace, and now the clone was the one that we've been paying attention to. Oh, never mind. I'm sorry. I'm getting a real deep cut on that. But anyway, but and, you know, Snoke could still be Mace Windu. I don't know, but I will tell you, after watching Last Jedi, honestly, Episode 3 pisses me off more.
How so?
How so? I'll tell you how so. So Princess Leia, who has been deemed not as force powerful as most other Jedis, gets sucked out of the cockpit of a fucking starship and is force sensitive enough.
Which is called the Starship Radish, named after Admiral Radish.
And pulls herself back in to basically be saved through the force.
Mm-hmm.
But Mace Windu can be pushed out of a fucking window and can't survive the fall from Coruscant. So say it out loud, all you prequel defenders. Go through this in your head like I've gone through in my head for the last 24 hours and see if you can make fucking sense of it. That's all. Sorry.
I think that was just writing.
Huh?
I honestly just think it was due to writing, that Lucas couldn't think of anything better.
That is the point of what my statement is that, you know.
Oh, the simple fact of it, but yeah.
Yeah, you get what I'm saying. I mean, that's my point. Sorry, it just doesn't make sense.
We'll always go back to it yes, Lucas created this, and I respect him for that.
Yes, thank you. We love you for that. And that's it. I just
made bad decisions.
Don't understand how Leia can pull herself out of the vacuum of space and survive.
Just cause Mace didn't, don't crucify Leia for doing it.
I'm not crucifying Leia. I'm not. That's not the point of this. This is not. His point is bad director. It's bad writing. This is the point. I'm crucifying the man behind the scenes. I'm not crucifying the characters.
If a better writer was on it, Mace Windu would have shot back in that room.
Yes! And smoked Palpatine. I mean, this is the dumbest thing in... I'm sorry.
No, it's just...
I'm sorry. I gotta stop.
No, that's the problem with a prequel in a case like that, because it's like, we have Palpatine and he needs to live. This guy's awesome, but he just has to die. I mean...
Anyway, you know what?
Yeah.
See Last Jedi again. We liked it. We liked it for different reasons. We both have our opinions on it.
Yeah.
And we both have our loves, and we both have our dislikes.
Like, one of the things that bugs me, and this is just me, I got over it. I mean, people have been bitching online about dialogue not being there that's in every other... I didn't even think about that shit.
I didn't care. Honestly. Why does it matter? Well, they didn't say I know and I love you and who cares?
Yeah, exactly.
Look, you cannot bitch about Force Awakens not being an original film and then turn and say that Last Jedi wasn't another nostalgia redo. You can't have it both ways, people. You have to have one or the other, you know? And, you know, there is something that we don't do anymore. And even I find myself guilty of it too. And I have to be a little bit more critical because of what we do here. Okay, we have to look at it a little bit more under a watchful eye because we've decided to put ourselves out there and critique these films and what have you. But there is something to be said for just sitting in the fucking theater and just enjoying the fucking movie.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That's really what it boils down to.
I'm lucky if I go to 2 movies a year.
That is true.
And
me too, for that fact.
Yeah.
My partners are gone.
Yeah.
You know, my partners are getting older. It's hard. It took us 72 hours to figure out when I could take my daughter to see Star Wars, just because of life. It's nothing, you know what I mean? Yeah. It's just life, you know? So I can relate. You know, I don't see as many films as I used to see, you know?
Definitely. But it was great. I mean, yeah. People have their right to say whatever they want and feel any way that they want. But
Absolutely.
just give it a second shot.
Yeah, that's
Sometime from now. Hell, wait till it comes out on Blu-ray. Enjoy it in your home if that's something that you like. I mean,
and
atmosphere has a
know
lot to do
this:
with
the
it as
tone
well.
of the third movie is going to be different from this tone.
Yeah.
Because it's nothing against JJ. JJ has his own little sprinkle of magic that he adds to things.
Yeah.
So his movie is going to be in a different vein. I like the fact that Last Jedi is more of a launch point and less of a middle movie.
Yes.
You know?
But not even a launch point towards the end of this trilogy, but to a future.
It doesn't look like there's any end in sight, to be perfectly honest.
And that was great because they expanded. You know, there was one thing that, I mean, I love the Clone Wars. I love Rebels. I felt that there were things in this movie that, not outright pointing at the cartoon, but really felt like aspects of the cartoon. Because the cartoon, they could do whatever they wanted, you know, and they did these really cool power stunts and flying things. And I felt that this movie had that spirit to it. Where it's
Agreed.
like,
There's
we're not
definitely
being
more.
chained back.
There's definitely
We're
more of a
just telling you.
superhero aspect, which at the end of the day, that's really what the Jedi were.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we can argue it one way or another, but you know, you move shit with your mind and whatever else. I mean, how many jokes about moving rocks? Even at the end of it, where she's landing the Falcon, I've got to move rocks. You know, so I, you know, there's a lot of little Easter eggs in there. Do yourself a favor. I mean, I don't know how. Maybe I'm the weird one, but like, there's probably not a month that goes by that I don't watch one of the Star Wars films.
I mean,
Just because. I mean, I'm not saying they're just like go-to films. You know what I mean? So it's like, okay, I want to watch Star Wars. You know what I mean? My favorites are different than others. I freely admit it. So I get a lot of. They're more fresher in my mind than maybe most people.
no, that's understandable. I don't get to watch them as much, but I mean, every day something Star Wars
Oh, sure.
enters my life. I mean,
Oh, sure.
some way, shape, or form. Yeah,
I agree.
I'm happy with that.
And I will tell you this, for everyone who's maybe not a huge Star Wars fan, we've talked about it. My wife is not a Star Wars fan. My wife cried. My wife said that was the best Star Wars film she's ever seen. So you can take that for whatever it's worth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But if you can actually touch...
The normal person off the street is not the one online crying.
No. It's just a bunch of
Nah.
people. I won't say what I want to say.
Anyway, on that note, thanks for watching.
Yes.
Keep being rad.
Stay dorky.
See you next time.